and welcome back to part 9 of Neptunia Reverse, where today we're entering Leanbox and starting properly the 3rd chapter of the game. And just like with last station, our best place to start to try and get any information, because if we can get a hold of Greenheart, we can get a lot of pieces in place to try and find these key fragments and hopefully get the help we need, is to go straight to the Basilicon and hope that we can get in contact with the goddess. Or the CPU, depending on how you want to call it. Obviously things are never that easy, but we can hope as we click go.
So, this is Leanbox's Basilicon?
It looks like it. Hope we don't get treated like back in last station.
I hope so too. By the way, what is Iffy looking at on your cell?
Lady Greenheart's blog. There was just an update, so she must be here.
No, that can't be. I'm pretty sure someone else is doing the blog entries.
Don't ruin my image any more than you need to.
I'm sorry, but I didn't expect you to be so into Lady Greenheart's blog.
Well, sorry for being a follower.
Oh, Nep. Stop teasing Iffy already. Let's go inside.
I wouldn't mind playing with Iffy a bit more, but I guess I'll do it later. Hello! We're here to see the CPU.
My, oh my, what a lively group of young ladies we have here. My name is Ivoire. What brings you here today?
We came to see the CPU. Is she around?
How amazingly unfortunate. Meeting time with the CPU is done for today.
Oh, come on. She's here, right? Just a little peek. Only a little.
Nep, it's our fault being late. We'll come again tomorrow.
Giving up so quick? I thought you were all over the goddess.
What, me? Yeah, but this isn't the right place to say such a thing.
Innocence is so cruel.
As one who serves the lady, I can't be happier with your admiration. But rules are rules. To add, the lady has matters to attend to.
Well, I guess we can't help it then.
Well then, let's just tour the city to pass the time today.
Sounds like a plan. Oh, Mr. Eviler.
That's Ivoire to you, young lady.
Do you know anything about a key fragment?
Wait, did you really get my name?
It would help a lot if you knew something, Mr. Evilist.
Did my name become worse?
And just in case, it looks like this. Have you seen one before?
I'm not getting myself involved in this mess.
I see what you mean.
Mr. Evil, whatchamacallit, do you know anything?
70 years of my life, and I've never seen one like that before.
Shucks.
But the lady may know. She was around for hundreds of years, after all.
Hundreds? So that means Lady Greenheart is an old
Okay, that's about it, Nep. Don't say a single word you were about to say.
Iffy, before Nep says something bad, I think we better head out.
You're right, Compa. It'll be a disaster if Nep muddles things up.
I'm sorry. We'll come back tomorrow then.
Yes, I'll be waiting.
Good day, sir. Oh, sorry. Are you okay?
No problem. I'm sorry for not paying attention too.
What's the matter, Iffy?
I just bumped into someone.
You should be careful, Iffy.
Yeah, at least I'm not as bad as Nep.
Iffy, Compa, let's go.
We're coming.
Wait up! Iffy!
That's...
Oh, a guest? How may I help you?
My name is Conversacion, an evangelist of the Wii.
How unusual. And what brings an evangelist of Loe here?
Please, do not be alarmed. I did not come to Leanbox to spread the word of Lady Whiteheart.
Then the reason is aside from evangelizing?
Yes, I come with information from Our Lady herself.
Information, you say?
Yes, it is in regards to the worship of the Overlord.
Overlord worship?
In game industry, there are 4 goddesses and people revere either one of them, but of recent, there are those who worship none of the goddesses.
So they are turning to worship of the Overlord. But here? In Leanbox?
I do not believe so, as those who live in Leanbox follow close to the CPU. But suppose such ones came from afar into Leanbox.
And evangelize as you?
No, they are heretics and do not evangelize such as myself. Instead, they find weaknesses and slowly turn people to the Overlord.
So you are saying such are in Leanbox?
Yes. For example, the young girls you have met earlier. They are heretics. Followers of the Overlord, Momus.
What? That is hard to believe, especially from youths such as them.
As proof, they appeared in Last Station where the goddess's share fell, and summoned monsters, inciting fear and destruction to the city. See for yourself.
I can't believe what I saw, but it was real. The girl called Neptune summoned the monsters, destroying the city. It was a surreal sight, seeing the young child laugh amid the chaos. Just remembering it brings me the shivers. Oh, Miss Conversation, how did that sound? Pretty real, right?
Oops. You didn't see that. That was Mr. G, living in Last Station. Since his joining Avenir, he worked hard, earning him rank among the company. His outstanding background is proof he is one to be trusted.
His background does speak words, but yet I cannot believe such innocence could do such a thing.
Very well. Once I can get further proof, I will be back again.
So, what do we want to do first?
I heard there's a great cafe at a town nearby serving sublime scones.
If Iffy says so, it must be good. I want to go there too.
Me three.
Okay, then it's set. There should be a horse carriage that'll take us there. Huh? What do you mean the carriage isn't running?
Well, we can't send them out with all those monsters out there now.
So, can you tell us how we can get to the neighboring town?
The only way there is to go through the dungeon area.
Oh no!
Sorry for the trouble, but I have to get back to work now.
Iffy, what do you want to do?
It isn't that far off, so let's just walk there.
I guess so. Speaking of, do you know the way there?
Oh, that's right. Let's ask around and see if we can get directions.
Leave it to me then. My positive demeanor will get directions in a jiffy.
Where does Nep's confidence come from, Compa?
I don't know.
Hello there. Can I bother you for a moment? Me? Yes, we wanted to go to the town near here, but can you give us directions? Oh, just go south and then head straight. You can't miss it. Here, take this map. I don't need it anyway. Really? Yay! Thank you. Huh. Is there something on my face? Are you Neptune? Uh-huh, that's me. Why? I knew it! Oh, I'm so happy to meet you. You know me? Yes. Well, to be precise, I know Neptune of a different world. So you're from another world too? Yes, my name is Tekken. Nice to meet you, Otherworld Neptune. Nice to meet you too.
Hey, Nep. Don't bother passerbys too much.
Sorry, looks like Iffy's calling me. Thanks for the map, Tekken. Sure. See you again, Neptune. It looks like both are friends in this world too. I hope I see them again.
I like how when Tekken goes to introduce herself, it sounds like the actress is trying not to laugh. Like, she's aware of how ridiculous the name is. But just like with Falcom and Magus, she's from another realm in this game. Basically meaning she's from Hyperdimension. She's from the canon universe, and she's just popped in to say hi to have an extra character. Which, to be fair, is kind of interesting, because between the original game and Rebirth 1, a small percentage of characters were rearranged. Like, the most noticeable one is that Red, the character called Red, who is in this game like a DLC character that you now just get because with Reverse you get all the DLCs built in. Red was one of the people you met in the original game, and there was like an actual main teammate, and they replaced her. They swapped her out for Magus, I believe, and then they made Red instead come back in the second game. But as a consequence of it, Red doesn't get anywhere near the character development when she gets put into Mark II than she does in the original. And I mean the original version of the original. And you'll see what I mean when we get to the presumable inevitable reverse too. But like I said, Red actually had her own like mini story and like a few like glimmers. It wasn't much because it was the very first Neptunia, and so saying it had much story or character growth is saying a lot. But it had stuff, you know, like it had pieces. Whilst in the second game, when they throw Red into the second game, like with Rebirth 2 and plus the presumable Reverse 2, they very much kind of do the Persona spin-off routine of let's break the character down to the fundamentals of her character and then just make that it, really, because they didn't really have a place for her in the second game. Which is a shame, because Red's an alright character. I'm not about to say she's brilliant. Any of the human characters outside of Iffy, Compa, and Big Nep are usually not that interesting. Like, they have enough going for them that there's a baseline, but then beyond that, yeah, no. They kind of blend into one another personality-wise. And we haven't even met half of them yet. There's a few coming up that I'm, in the nicest possible way, I barely even think about. I just completely forgot about them and straight up criticised their existence in the first two games because it felt like they were pointless. They felt like they were just there to bump up the character selection screen and not because they had any relevance to the story. And so I'd say that already kind of applies. So I said the only human character outside of IF and Compa in this game that I actually like or don't mind is Magus. I found Magus to be somewhat interesting just because she's after her own objective separate from you guys. And that's it. Like, Falcom is just a rookie adventurer, and there's actually two Falcoms in the Neptunia universe. There's young Falcom and older Falcom. Like, we just met young Falcom, where she's a rookie adventurer, and there's another Falcom where she's like an experienced, hardened adventurer. It's got like she's got like the Akihiko effect, where she's like covered in plasters and band-aids and things like that, to kind of like support her because of how many battles she's been in. I say plasters and band-aids, it's the same thing, just one's the European term and the other's the US term. But to change gears slightly, the reason why I skipped that mini boss and now I'm coming back for it, or this like field optional boss, is because I knew Nep was like one fight away from level 25 and I wanted her to get her EXE drive. We're going to start getting those EXE drives en masse because everyone's going to start hitting level 25. And the next party member that joins actually like joins the playable party canonically, it starts at level 24, so you'll like use her for like 2 or 3 fights and then you'll get to level 25. And if you think specifying the gender of the character is potential spoilers because it's narrowing it down at all, I don't know if you've noticed in the Neptunia series there aren't male characters. I say that I think in the original version of V2 there was only one male playable character, and that was Umio, the fish. And that's the thing, like, if I ever cover base V2, which I said I might, if Reverse 2 and Reverse 3 ever come out and I do a Let's Play for them, I might do base V2 to kind of wrap it all around to cover everything. The only disappointing thing is that one of the DLC characters straight up isn't available to get anymore, because it was a licensed like crossover character, but it was built to reference Square Enix more directly, but that contract faded, and so Million Arthur is no longer playable, which is a shame because Million Arthur was such an amazing character in V2. Like, she didn't have much because like, she was mostly just a DLC character, but she was the harem girl. Like, they really leaned into like, no, everyone loves Million Arthur. Like, she just gets attention, shall we say.
My turn.
And so I just won't be able to showcase her because I don't own V2, so I didn't buy the DLC. So it just kind of went off the store one day without really any warning. I'd be happy if it ever did come back on, but I'm doubtful. I can imagine Million Arthur's ever going to come back. It's if they announce a 5th game, and that's a huge goddamn if, because I'm starting to think it'll never happen. But here's Neptune Break, her first EXE. What's worth mentioning with EXEs is during boss fights they get extended animations.
None of you will last long.
Oh, I say that Lucia just got her EXE drive with dolls. And what I mean by that is, say an EXE attack will hit the enemy 15 times. When you use it on a boss, you'll hit them 17 times, and like the 16th and 17th hit will do more damage. It's just a unique thing they do with boss fights. but it will also count towards those optional encounter boss fights that we just did there. Like, it will do the full boss version of it. It's only if you use it on a basic enemy it won't count.
Lucky.
Which is really helpful, and it's also why they get so overpowered. I've mentioned before that Vert, the Green Heart and Leanbox's CPU, is ridiculously overpowered because of her EXE. And yeah, her EXE Dry Level 1 has a ridiculously high hit count, and if you bump up her attack and speed, it gets even harder. And the boss variant adds an attack on the end that is nigh enough, because of the damage boost on it, a guaranteed 9,999 damage at any point in the game. Or if it doesn't, it'll at least be excess of 9,000. And so when you keep that in mind with everything else, it genuinely just one-shots bosses. If you build up your EXE out before the boss fight, so you've got a bar to spare, or to spend even, you can just start the fight, prioritize breaking the guard, and the split second that guard is broken, the fight will end. Because you will just go to Vert, use her EXE, and the boss will die. Because every hit will do just under 10,000 damage, and it hits like 25 times. It's literally like Knights of the Round level broken.
What's this?
And it's why in the second game, they quote-unquote nerfed it by making it that the main goddesses don't join your party till super late, because the second game is entirely focused on the little sisters, so you just don't get access to Neptune, Noir, Vert, and Blanc for like the majority of the game. Or to put it in the correct order, Neptune, Noir, Blanc, and Vert. Vert always gets put last nowadays in that listing, and not because of popularity, even though I can imagine it had something to do with it, but just because of the order of the nations in Hyperdimension. It always ends up going in that way. Leanbox is always last to be listed, so Vert's always last to be listed. But instead, for a large chunk of the game, the protagonists are only Nepgear, Uni, Rom, and Ram. Which is the other reason why they bumped it up to 4 playable party members in the second game instead of 3. Because Rom and Ram, as I've mentioned before, and if you've watched my V2R Let's Play, you know this, only really work when they're together. And if you only had a party of 3, that you'd be stuffed, because essentially your party for a long stretch of the game would only be able to be Nepgear and then Rom and Ram. Because if you had Nepgear and Uni, Rom or Ram will be worthless on their own. Yeah, you can have them be on assist, but it's not the same. Like, you end up kind of working it against you. Also, although this is the same mini-boss we just fought in the previous one, for the sake of I wanted to show off EXEs, because some of these characters, like, well, Compa and IF, to be very blunt, when we start getting newer party members, are slowly but surely going to be replaced. Because Iffy and Compa just aren't great. I mentioned this before, but you really start to feel it around this point in the game. Throughout Chapter 3, and if you have them around in Chapter 4, my goodness, you're going to start to really feel that they're human characters and not goddesses. It's not as bad as V2 and V2R. I still think they'll be the worst offenders, because my goodness, they are worthless in that game. It feels like they were only added for like the sake of they've always been there and not because they were actually helpful. But here's Iris's, or Iris Heart's EXE. Which is pretty cool. The only problem with it is that even though it's very flashy with the animation, it's after they realise that EXEs are broken as shit. So it's actually pretty balanced. But this is also the first game and she's in as a DLC character. So having a balanced EXE in the game where they're all broken as shit usually, it kind of is highlighted. Like, it's still really strong because it's an effective tool at doing what it does. But just, I can't stress enough, when you start seeing like a kitted out Vert, like once you've got everything set up for her, got a good weapon on her, the moment you start getting her kitted out, hell breaks loose with her EXE. Like, it genuinely starts getting ridiculous. Also, Plutia learned a skill similar to Fancy Rain, called Fancy Rain, which is a physical version of Fancy Rain with an exclamation mark. And that's all it is. It's just you can make Fancy Rain be based off magic instead of strength. And it has a slightly different animation, but that's kind of the norm for Plutia, to kind of have that kind of setup. But in Plutes as a whole, her moveset is really good. It just takes a while to get there. If we ever do cover that third game, Plutia will be my main party for like the entire game, which to be fair is kind of almost I'm not going to say mandatory, but it certainly feels mandatory in the third game, because if you don't have the DLC, for about 95% of the game, you only have 6 party members. Those being Neptune, Netgear, Ultra Dimension Noir, Ultra Dimension Blanc, Ultra Dimension Vert, and Plutia. Later on, you get Pishi joining, so that's much later on. And then only when you break into literally the final dungeon of the game, Uni, Rom, and Ram join, making it round up to 10. And like, that's it. Outside of DLC, that's your party. So you end up getting very pick and choosy on who you have, because they cut down the party member list significantly in the third game, excluding DLC. Do you believe in Overlord Momus? Mammary? No, Momus. Overlord Mammary? Never heard of it before. Have you, Compa? Momus. Momus. I've never heard of Overload Mustard before either. I don't know where to start. That's M-O-M-U-S, and it's Overlord. Anyway, what does Mr. Overlord Talker person want with us? I am a messenger of Momus, and I'm here to spread the word of the Overlord. We want everyone to know the joy of coming to know Overlord Momus. Well, you may want to stop already. We're not interested. Yes, I believe in Lady Purpleheart. Speaking of, how about you, Nep Nep? Me? I believe only in myself. Just joking. Might have sounded narcissistic there a bit. Wait, did I do it again? Well, just hear me out a bit. Overlord worship is actually really fun. I thought I already said we're not interested. Here, let me give you this, a special Overlord Momus limited set. You don't give up, do you? Oh, come now, just take it, you'll love it. See, here's a mug with Overlord's logo. Coffee tastes like love in it. The laser die cut cell image is hand numbered as the 666, also including a set of Overlord trading cards made just for this set. The illustrations are also in this art book that's included. Oh, and what's a set without an Overlord BGM CD? Perfect when you want to have an ambient background to your gaming. Of course, it was recorded to provide maximum excitement and tension. A special disc to make you feel like you're nearer to our Overlord. Also buy our Overlord items at our online store to get Overlord stamps. Collect enough stamps and you get this life-size Overlord hugging pillow. Hold it! You're using my script space. I'm gonna let the producer know. Oh no, I only appear here in the game. Let me go and this pin is yours. Pins and all this other stuff is just junk to us. Take it all back. My grandma taught me nothing is for free, so you can take them back. No strings attached. You can have them. Well, I have to go now. Take care. What are you gonna do with all this? We can't leave them here, so I guess we have to take them with us. Ugh, why do we always get into strange ones? Nep, what are you doing? Well, since we're resting, I wanted to see what else was here. Oh, hey, this BGM CD he was promoting. Wait a minute. What's wrong, Nep Nep? Doesn't this BGM CD look oddly like the monster disc thingy? What? Hand it over, Nep. Ah, it's starting to shine. The one in mine and Iffy said it's starting to shine too. That guy, he tricked us. It's transformation time, Nep Nep. Aye, aye, sir. Let's hurry and get rid of them all and report back to the Basilicom. It'd be a disaster if these were placed in the city.
Everyone,
Yeah, after everything happened in the last station and that warehouse. Yeah, if we can stop it, that'd be appreciated. What's also appreciated is that Fancy Rain with a question mark gets changed to verbal abuse when it's Iris Heart.
You need to be a man.
Which is, it's literally the fan service attack.
Who wants to take me on?
Yeah, like, they even passed me, it was like, oh, for God's sake. At least the music's great again. And I gotta say that though, like the original version of Neptunia and Rebirth 1,
My turn.
like it had good tunes, but I mentioned in the review and I still stand by it, it wasn't really memorable to me. Like it was good enough to do the job, but it didn't stick with me. In Reverse, they are adamant to try and change that, because like every single battle theme in the game got a really fancy pants high budget remix. Here's me showing off Iffy and Compa's EXEs as well. I just did Iffy's, just because I know we're not going to get many more chances, and you'll notice immediately that theirs is nowhere near as good either.
May I begin?
And those last two little spurts is what you'd get in like a boss encounter, I believe. I think this counts because it's a scripted encounter. I might be wrong though.
I'll finish this.
There might be more to their animation that I just didn't show.
Taking this serious.
But I honestly can't remember. I use the moment Iffy and Compa start to lose their worth, I do bench them. That took longer than expected. Let's break these before more come out. What's the matter? My original form wanted to break these, so... Oh, that's right, I completely forgot. I think it was when you were trapped in the plant at last station. Well, I'll let you break them next time, if I don't forget again. Let's just get this done and hurry back to the Basilicon. Was that okay? Yes, Overlord Momus should be pleased. Then, may I get a stamp on my stamp card as promised? Yes, there you go. Does that look good? Yes, now my stamp card is complete. Now I believe this plush, ultra soft Overlord hugging pillow is due. Yes, thank you, Lady Conversacion. Where will you go now? I will head back to Leanbox Basilicon. Now I have proof that Neptune summoned monsters. Heh. They never stop, do they? This may be worse than expected. What's the matter, Effie? I've been researching and it looks like Overlord worship is spreading. But I've never heard of this Mr. Overlord person before. Neither have I, Nep. Oh, that's right, won't she know? Now, you won't know if you don't ask, right? Wait, you know something about this? Of course not. My bad for expecting something from you. This picture here is proof. It can't be. Such young girls, messengers for Overlord Momus? Now, do you believe me? You gave me no choice. Very well, let me give you this. What's this, a vial? Of poison. Poison? Yes, use this to poison and kill Neptune. Neptune is tainted to 2 young girls of evil. She must not go unpunished. Why not just capture her and report her back to the ladies? Overlord worship has distributed the goddesses greatly, but they are busy as is. Notifying details will only burden them more. True, a lady has been quite worried over something of recent. If so, do you not want to reduce your goddess's workload? I missed that last bit, but I assume that's what she was saying. And that's essentially where we are going to be wrapping up. What's going to become of that vial of poison, I suppose you'll just have to wait another day. Unless you're watching this way in the future, in which case, firstly, why? But I appreciate it. And secondly, you can just click on the next video. If you come over here, though, we could have done this a little ago, but you can pick up the original photo album for Last Station now. Which is basically just how they designed the art and design for Last Station in the original version of Hyperdimension Neptunia. You know, like back when it was the only game before they made a sequel and then remastered it 3 times. But that being said, I'm going to wrap it up for now. I know it's a bit shorter of a video, but as I keep saying, I want to try and bring the length down a bit. I know there's long-ish videos here, and there's probably going to be more longer ones before we're done. But if I can keep it a bit more tame, I will. So next time we'll find out about that poison vial, but until then, take care.